Yesterday, I was on a coaching call with my clients, and I planned on talking about accountability and different aspects of that, and we did. But the conversation kind of led to me saying something and then us talking about it. And what I said was something I couldn't really stop thinking about, and that's why I'm recording this episode. What I said was hard seasons don't require me to leave myself. And I had them write that down because there's something a lot bigger in that. And the more I realized as I was talking with them, the more I realized the bigger thing is this. And I've said this before. It warrants saying again and talking about it in this way. When women come to me, they want to lose weight. Obviously, a lot of them, most of them want to lose some weight or change their physical body in some way, right? But it's not really just about weight loss. It's not just about workouts. It's not just about, what meals they're going to eat. And it's not even just about the accountability. That sentence again, hard seasons don't require me to leave myself. I think this whole thing is about something women do that we rarely notice while we're doing it. And that is the way I'm going to phrase it is that is we leave ourselves. And it's not some like dramatic breakup. It's not even like an intentional leaving. I'm going to put air quotes around that. It's almost something that we do invisibly. And I think that's why it is so hard to recognize when it happens. Because if I asked you, have you abandoned yourself? Most of you will immediately say, of course not. That sounds so dramatic, right? It sounds like something that happens in a movie with the background music and the looks and the dramatic breakup. So of course you would say no to that question. But if I asked it in a different way, if I asked, have there been seasons where you stopped checking in with yourself? Have there been seasons where you stopped thinking about and asking what it is that you need? Stopped making yourself part of the equation of what's important? I think a lot more of you would say, yeah. And here's why I think that's important, or a big reason why I think it's important. I don't think we wake up one morning and we decide, oh, we're going to stop caring about ourselves. I don't think any of you says, you know what, today's the day I'm going to disappear and give up on my own life. That's not how it happens. Life gets a little more chaotic. Maybe your parents get sick or need you for some in some other way. Maybe a spouse is going through something and needs you. Maybe your kids need you. Whether they're adults or not, our kids can need us. Maybe work gets a lot busier, it gets more demanding, it gets more stressful, someone gets sick, you lose someone, you're grieving, you're exhausted. And it doesn't even have to be those kinds of things. Maybe nothing really catastrophic or, huge happens. Maybe it's just that it's summertime and schedules change and people are home a lot more, or you're traveling a lot more. You have more, visitors, you're entertaining more, you're socializing more, and things just kind of feel a little busier and more chaotic. And without ever really making a conscious decision, you just kind of slowly stop showing up for yourself. And it's not about you not caring, but it's just maybe other things feel more urgent. And I was I was thinking about this even after our coaching call yesterday. Um, have you ever noticed how often women say things like, "I- I'll get back to X, I'll get back to my diet, I'll get back to working out, I'll get back to taking care of myself, whatever. I'll get back to it when things settle down." I hear that from women all the time. When the kids go back to school, when work slows down, when this next project is over, when my mom is doing better, when our move is over, when the holidays are over, when. And I understand why we say it, because when we say those kinds of things, it kind of sends the message to us. It's not a true message, but it sends the message to us that this sort of pause, this deferred attention, deferred from me, is temporary. And that feels reasonable. It actually, I think it feels more than reasonable. I think it feels like the responsible way to handle things when we're saying it. We're not saying we'll never take care of ourselves again, right? We're saying just not right now. But here's what I have not just noticed, but here's what I know after years and years of doing this work, helping women. Life does not stay settled down for very long. If it settles down, it doesn't stay that way for very long at all. There is always another reason, there's always another season, another responsibility, another unexpected event, another unexpected phone call, another thing that suddenly becomes more important. Always. And if your relationship with yourself and your commitment to your relationship with yourself depends on life becoming easy, you're going to spend a whole hell of a lot of time in your life waiting. So this may sound odd, but I don't actually think difficult seasons are what pulls us out of that commitment to ourselves, that commitment to our relationship to ourselves and our goals and things we want for our life. I don't think it's the difficult seasons that actually pull us out of those relationships with ourselves. I think it's the story we tell ourselves about those difficult seasons. The stories where we say, right now, everyone else needs me more. Right now isn't the right time for this. Right now, I don't have the bandwidth or I don't have the capacity. And listen, sometimes you really don't have the same capacity. That's absolutely real. I'm not poo-pooing that. I'm not denying that. And that's not a failure on your part either, not to not have the capacity. That's not a failure. That's actually a big thing that I talked about with my clients yesterday and that I've thought a lot about, because I realize there are different reactions and responses, if you will, to hard seasons in life. The problem is, I think we confuse those responses all the time. One response is adapting. The other response is disappearing. Those are not the same thing. let's say let's say you've been working out 3 days a week and you've been really pretty consistent with that. You feel like you've been in a routine, things have been going well, you've been working out for 3 days a week for months. Then your mom or your dad ends up in the hospital. Maybe you don't get to strength train or work out or walk or whatever it was that you were doing to work out. Maybe you don't get to do it for 3 days that week. Maybe you walk instead. Maybe you spend 10 minutes just stretching instead of working out. Maybe my point is you simply refuse to lose contact with yourself because one of your parents fell ill or even was put in the hospital. That's adaptation. Your capacity changed, but your relationship with yourself didn't. See, two different things, right? Or maybe you've been cooking at home. You've been cooking dinner at home. That's a commitment you made to doing every night of the week, right? And then kind of life gets crazy, work gets busy. You end up having to do, long hours. You don't get home at the typical time. And so instead of cooking meals from scratch where everything is completely fresh, maybe you buy a rotisserie chicken and a bag salad and some frozen veggies. Maybe you make an omelet and have some Greek yogurt. You go to simple food. Again, that's adaptation. You're still taking care of yourself. It just looks different. But self-abandonment, the other reaction and response is different. Self-abandonment even sounds different. Self-abandonment says, I don't even think about eating until after 4 o'clock. Then I just grab whatever. I'll just go through the drive-through. I don't really care. And I don't even think that's completely honest because I don't think women stop caring. I think they stop checking in. And again, there's a difference. That's part of the thing that keeps coming back to me, that phrase, that thought of like you stop checking in. Because checking in requires remembering that you're someone worth checking on. And somewhere along the way, you kind of remove yourself from your own list. You say it's not forever, it's just until life settles down, except life does not ask for your permission to get hard again. Life never asks us for permission before it becomes hard again. And you know what else is interesting? If your closest friend was going through one of the hardest seasons of her life, would compassion mean or look like walking away from her, disappearing on her? Would compassion be you never asking how she's doing, never checking in on her, never making sure that she's eaten something, never returning her calls or texts, not seeing her for months? Is that what compassion would look like with her? Of course not. If anything, compassion would mean you running toward her, moving toward her, not away from her. So why have we decided that self-compassion means moving away from ourselves? Why would we move away from ourselves rather than toward ourselves? That has been bothering me ever since yesterday's call. And I think that's why I'm recording this today, because I hear women say, I'm just trying to give myself some grace. And I believe in grace. I really do. You know that. It's in the title of this podcast, for Pete's sake. But I wonder if we've accidentally confused grace with absence. I wonder if we've confused compassion with permission to disappear. Because I don't think compassion asks us to disappear from the very person who's hurting. And I think I made that point by giving you the example of if your best friend was hurting in a season of really big need. Compassion doesn't ask us to disappear from the person who's hurting, even when that person who's hurting is you. Compassion means staying close. And that's why yesterday I said something to my clients that I've been thinking about a lot. Compassion for ourselves should never require abandoning ourselves. That just feels so true to me. It's not about being perfect. Listen, God knows I am so freaking not perfect. There have been more weeks that I haven't worked out in the way that I should or wanted to than the way that I have this summer. Full disclosure. It's not about being perfect. It's because this whole thing is because compassion says you don't have to keep doing everything you've always done. It's just that you can see that you're struggling and you can say, let me take care of myself in the way that's possible today, just in the way that's possible today. Just like you would look at a friend and say, I see that you're struggling. And what do you need today? The same thing is true. Don't pretend that you don't exist until the season of chaos or the hard season, the difficult time is over. You don't have to do that. It does not have to be an either I abandon myself or I look like I don't care and I'm selfish and I'm irresponsible. Those are not the same thing. One response leads you back to yourself. The other one kind of quietly teaches us and reinforces to us that it's okay to leave. And maybe that's why so many women tell me they don't really trust themselves to do this journey anymore. They don't trust themselves at all anymore. It's not that they make totally, imperfect choices. It's that every hard season becomes another season where they just kind of disappear on their relationship with themselves. And, this relationship component of this discussion, I think, is really important. I say all the time, I don't want women to be dependent on me. I want to help women learn to trust themselves. I have said that for years. Learn to make decisions for themselves. Learn to be able to live in this way with a quote unquote healthy lifestyle far beyond their journey of coaching with me. I've said that for years and years. But what I'm understanding is something a little new about that. Trust is not built by making the best, always perfect decisions. Trust is built by staying in the relationship. Staying in the relationship. Women stay in the coaching relationship with me when I'm helping them. And that's what helps them to build trust in the process, build trust in me being able to help them get the results that they want, and ultimately in them being able to trust themselves to carry on, to maintain their healthy lifestyle beyond the relationship of coaching with me. Trust is built by staying in relationship. Think about any relationship that's lasted in your life. It's lasted because somebody stayed, not because they were perfect, not without conflict, not without some disappointment, but somebody in the relationship stayed, right? And when women come to me at first, I'm staying in that relationship. I'm the one staying. I'm the one when you have the doubt that you can do this or the doubt that it's working or the doubt of how you can ultimately, reach your I'm the one that stays in the relationship. But you have to realize that that has to be true with ourselves too. It has to be true with yourself too, right? Trusting yourself isn't about always making the right decision. Maybe it's about getting to that point where you can trust yourself and live in this way. Maybe that's about, especially in the beginning, just refusing to leave yourself just because things get hard in life. You see where I'm going with this? And I know this is not easy. When life gets hard, I know it's not easy. But hanging in on that relationship with yourself is the best way to build trust with yourself. And maybe resilience, you need to think about resilience, right? Because that's part of your commitment and your ability to stay committed to that relationship. Maybe that's not just about pushing harder. Maybe resilience is staying there in the relationship, staying curious, staying connected, continuing to ask, you know what do I need today? I can't do everything, but what do I need right now today? What do I need this week? What do I need now? Not next month or after vacations are over for the summer, not when work slows down or when my adult kids get their shit together and don't need me as much. But what do I need today? Because today's version of caring for yourself might very well look different than it did 6 months ago. And that is okay. This might blow your mind to hear me say this, but the goal was never, ever, ever complete consistency of behavior. The goal, and this is the big secret, the actual goal is consistency of the relationship. That's what I wish more women understood. Hard seasons do not require you to become someone else. They just require you not to disappear on yourself. They don't require you to stop mattering to yourself. They simply require a different expression of that care. Maybe it's a smaller one. Maybe it's a quieter one. Maybe it's one that nobody else in your life even notices. But it's not about not caring. It's not about no relationship. It's not about no you in the equation. So I'm going to leave you with a question that I asked my clients yesterday. And this isn't about judging yourself. So know that and hear that clearly. This is about the fact that awareness changes things. Okay. So here's the question. When life gets hard, when life gets heavy and messy and unexpected, what's the very first way that you tend to leave yourself? Is it that you stop kind of planning to fit yourself in on that to-do list? Is it that you stop asking for help or stop, moving your body, whether it's working out or walking or whatever? Is it that you stop, eating with more intention? You start kind of grabbing food? Is it that you stop resting like you need to rest? Is it that you stop checking in on what you need? What's the first way you kind of quietly disappear from your own life? Because if you can recognize that pattern, you don't have to wait until life gets easier to come back to yourself. You can just choose something a little different, much smaller and kind of more compassionate. You can decide this hard season may change how I care for myself. The way that I care for myself may change a little bit, but this hard season doesn't require me to completely abandon myself. It doesn't require me to leave myself. It doesn't require me to bail on my relationship with myself, because that's a relationship that's worth protecting. Thanks for being here with me. I always appreciate your time and you listening, and I would love to hear from you if this resonates. And I'll meet you right back here next time.